Hello, podcast listeners. We know podcasts are a great way to catch up on a program that you may have missed on KSJE, and it's provided as a free service of this radio station. But you know, KSJE is now listener-supported, and so while you enjoy this podcast, we hope that you'll also take some time to join KSJE. Become a member today. It's quite easy to do. Just go to our website at ksje.com/support and pick the level of support that best matches your budget. Thanks again for listening. Here's your podcast. Minutes past 8 o'clock. It's Thursday morning, the 9th day of October, 2025. Good morning, everyone. I'm Scott Michlin. Thank you for tuning in to KSJE 90.9 FM over the air right here in San Juan County, New Mexico. In Durango, Colorado, our frequency is 103.3 FM. And if you're listening to my voice anywhere else on the planet, you've gone to our website to do that. Streaming all the time from ksje.com, or maybe you've asked your smart speaker to play KSJE, or perhaps you're listening through the new KSJE app. Glad that you are with us, no matter how you got here. Thanks for joining me. Also, welcome to our viewers who are watching the program. The video is streaming out live to the KSJE Facebook page and also to our YouTube channel. So glad that you're with us, everybody, because coming up, our topic today, economic development. We're getting an update from Tim Gibbs, the Executive Director of Four Corners Economic Development. Lots of things going on in the area, so he will be updating me and you on all those things coming up in the next few moments on KSJE this morning. Then, of course, we will make way for Mick Hess. Mick is going to be here at 9:06, Roving with the Arts. That's after the news, of course, our weekday classical music program right here on KSJE Radio. Don't forget, you can also connect with us on other social media platforms like Instagram or Blue Sky or even X, in addition to Facebook and YouTube. And if you're a podcast listener, we remind you, KSJE publishes podcasts almost every day. You can find them on the platforms where you're already listening to podcasts, so subscribe for free and discover a new local program that you may have missed recently. And to make it even easier, you can download the new KSJE Radio app. It's available now at the App Store or Google Play for your iPhone or Android device, and stay connected wherever you go. Access to our podcast, streaming all the time, and much, much more through the KSJE app. Outside our studios here at San Juan College, 60 degrees under cloudy skies at the moment. We're expecting a mostly cloudy day today, as a matter of fact. Take a look. Chance of showers 50% with a high of 76 in Farmington. It's the first day of many days of potential rainfall. Take a look. Next 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 days of potential showers. Tonight, another 50% chance of showers overnight with a low near 60 degrees. Tomorrow, again, more chances for rain on Friday with a high of 69. Chances go up for rain on Saturday, 80% with a high of 67. 50% chance on Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday next week, with highs all in the mid to upper 60s and overnight lows in the mid to lower 50s. Back with my guest, Tim Gibbs from Four Corners Economic Development, right after this on KSJE. KSJE is supported by San Juan Regional Medical Center. The caregivers of San Juan Regional Medical Center are committed to bettering the quality of life, health, and care of individuals, families, and our communities. Life is their sacred trust. Better is their mission. Here is their home. San Juan Regional Medical Center, improving the health of the Four Corners since 1910.
Now back to Studio A and the award-winning Scott Michlin morning program on KSJE.
Joining me here in Studio A to talk a little bit about his job with Four Corners Economic Development, of course. Tim Gibbs is here, the Executive Director. Welcome back to KSJE.
Happy to be here.
Good to have you here, and you're a busy guy. You've been keeping busy, and you'll be busy again today. You got something else going on.
Yeah, we got visitors coming.
Okay, all right.
We have a site visit today for a company that's looking for a location to put a facility.
Okay. I know you can't tell me too much about this, right? But this is how it happened. This is how it works, right?
It is.
People call you and say, hey, we're going to be in the area, or we want to come to the area and talk to us about what we would like to do.
It's a little bit even harder than that.
Oh, okay.
The folks that are coming here, they'd never heard of us. They didn't know that Farmington, New Mexico even existed, or San Juan County.
Okay.
But they knew they were interested in doing business in the United States.
Okay.
Canadian company.
Okay.
Maybe some pressure for tariffs, but also this is such a big market. The Canadian market's 37 million. The American market's 337 million. So
Makes
you can
sense,
see.
right? Yeah, sure. Get a piece of that pie.
But you've got to get in front of people. You've got to, and that's one of the things we've been trying to do for the last year and a half, is figure out ways that we can get in front of decision makers and get in front of companies, where we can share the opportunity of who we are, what we have to offer, and potentially how people can be successful here.
Nice.
So it's a little bit of time coming to getting to this point that we're ready to open our doors, that we're ready to show them what we have to offer, what
Right.
this community can do. Now, we won't be all things to everyone, but and every community has limitations and also has a forte. But I'm really excited that when I leave here, I get to go sit down with a company and start sharing what Farmington, New Mexico has to offer, and what the Four Corners region has to offer, what the United States has to offer, and what the partners, including this school here, has to offer for a company.
That all goes into your, I guess, elevator speech. I'm sure you have a longer one than just an elevator speech, but that all goes into your promotion of the community then, I guess, right?
It does, and people, they're going to find it maybe a little bit funny, but the first thing we do is try to listen. Is we sit down and
Well, I think you have to, right? What are you looking for?
Yeah, with the company, and what does it take to make you successful? What kind of community, what kind of values, what kind of people, who's your clients, those type things. Now, some of that we've already done, or they wouldn't be here.
Right.
Yeah,
This is the next step, kind of.
yeah, but a lot of it very much is just understanding what success looks like and trying to see if you have those parameters. And if you do, we can always make a good deal better. But we can never overcome if it just doesn't work, if we're not the right place, or we're not the right part of the country, and those type things. So we've gotten past a lot of those fundamentals, and now we're sitting down, and they're going to learn a little bit more about the people, which is cool. I mean, and I'm going to take them downtown tonight. The Chamber of Commerce is doing a poker run on Main
That's
Street.
right.
On Main Street, and there's live music, there's live food. And I'm going to have my guests with me, and they're going to get to go down and feel what it feels like here.
Sure.
Because they've never been in this state. They've never been in this region.
In the
And
sense of the community.
yeah, because feeling comfortable is it's a litmus test. If you're not comfortable and you don't see that this is a community that you can be a part of for a really, really long time, it's really hard to go past those things.
Right.
So while we have hard conversations and we do quantify things and we talk about the numbers and and this and that, it's also we try to show them a little bit about the community, take them on a few tours, and let them see who we are and what the people that make this community up
Nice. Very good. Well, good luck, I think, right? And I would think that the community sells itself, but it doesn't. We're going to have a little bit of help from you and your staff to sell it as well, right?
It did to me. I mean, about 2 years ago, I came here.
That's right.
On a cloudy day in February.
That was BT before Tim.
Yes, yes. But there's a whole lot of better things out there and more articulate things out there than me. We're going to be meeting with folks here at the college that for particular programs, because they would need a system of talent, and talent's a big deal.
Sure. And training.
It is, and not only that, but just the human capital, human stock that we have here. We're a blue collar community. We build things, we make things, we do things with our hands. We're not limited to that,
Right.
but that's one of the fortes of this community, and it's one of the reasons why a company that wanted to talk about manufacturing looked at us, because we have people that want to work and they have skills,
Right.
that's looking for a career, not just something to do but they're looking for a long-term career, kind of like the jobs that their parents had and their grandparents before that.
Right. Very cool. And this is exciting because this is the other kind of side of that coin, I think, that you always tell me about, is that you, Forsaid, works with local businesses and how to help them grow.
Yeah.
But also the other side of that is attracting new businesses. And so together, that is what creates that economic growth on both sides for any community.
You have to take care of your existing businesses. I mean, they're vested. They're here. They've invested their time, their equity, everything into making it here.
Right.
And to do that, the best way that we know to do that is get in front of them and talk to them.
Yeah.
You know, it's not as simple as just a couple questions, but a couple major questions really kind of forms that conversation. Is what opportunities do you have in front of you, and how can we help you? Or if there's things that's limiting your capacity that we can help you overcome.
Yeah.
And many times it's connections to other people's services other than just ForSed, but doing it in a way that will help them be successful. If they need training, well, this college
Right.
is a great asset. Or if they're doing something with other businesses that potentially, if they worked with another local business, they can shorten their supply chain, or they can have a better price on their product, or they can find someone to partner with to share expenses. Whatever it may be, if we get in front of them and we can have those type of conversations, we can work towards retention of what they're doing and potentially expansion as well.
Sure, very true. And I know the college prides itself on the business development training and whatever else the business might need. I think they're happy to fine-tune training to meet that business's particular needs and all those different things that the college can offer to new and existing businesses.
You know, and I've worked around a lot of colleges before, but some of the fundamental things that guide this college and the administration are powerful things. They want to train people for jobs that exist.
Right.
They want
Right.
people to have the opportunity to stay in their community of choice and have the skills to do well in that community. Now, there's a transfer component as well. If you're going to leave from a 2-year school and go to a 4-year school, or you want an advanced degree and such, you need the solid foundation to be successful. But when you get into that worker training component of it, whether it's for incumbent workers or new workers or whatever it may be, you're giving people the skills to make more money, to have more job security, and to live in their community of choice.
Right. Very true. Well, good luck with that. Very exciting. And I know you will tell us all about it, hopefully, when you can, down the road.
It's one of those things that,
We may not have an answer for a while. I
Yeah.
think these things are like this is the long game, isn't it?
well, it depends. Sometimes you know right off the bat.
Okay.
Yeah, or whether it's good or bad.
Sure. Right.
Yeah, sometimes you know.
Right.
And it's interesting. Some things we want to yell from the top of the hill. We want everyone to know. And the other things we have to be a little bit of submarine and respect the company's wishes, sometimes even under non-disclosure agreements, whatever it may be,
Yeah, right.
until they're ready and they control the flow of information. And we just have to respect that.
Yeah. As a media person, I get it, but I don't get it. I wish I didn't have to get it, but I understand it.
You don't have to like it.
That's right. That's it. I get it. I don't have to like it. I like that better. That sounds better.
Yeah.
So very good. Well, good luck. And it's exciting to learn about some of these things. I'm sure there's just one example of others maybe that you may be working on. So that's good.
Well, we hope there's more to come.
Yeah, exactly.
And every single one of these, we're going to treat like it's the last and only one we will ever see.
Sure.
It gets the utmost, it gets the most attention.
Right.
And they flew in on the flight. So they used the flight service. The
Perfect.
cities.
They know how that works.
Yes.
Yeah, from Denver. Very
Yeah.
good.
So the
Right into
connectivity-
town, you know.
Yeah, you can get there from here, that's a good thing.
That's
and I
right.
picked them up, got them settled in. Now we're going to start our running.
Okay, very good. Excellent. Well, we can't wait to hear what happens with that. The other thing I want to talk to you about is coming up, a celebration of businesses, your annual Edge Awards that will be happening in November. You've invited me to take part. Thanks again for helping me to, I'll be glad to MC that evening, November 13th, 5:30 to 7:30 at the San Juan Country Club. And it's a chance to honor these businesses. You're still looking for nominees, I think?
We are.
For businesses, yes.
Yeah. And you can go to the ForSed, which is, it's the number 4, fourcorners.ed.com.
That's the website.
Yes, and from that you can do it electronically this year.
Nominate.
So if you want to nominate a company, it's really easy. Just go to our website, click on it, tell us why, tell us about the company, and we're checking it out. And maybe the company that you turned us on to or highlighted does not have to be a member of our organization even.
Okay.
Could really get exposed to even on a greater level to the community. And I'm very appreciative of what you do to offer the winners the opportunity to come on the air and discuss who they are, what they're doing,
Sure.
and the services they're offering to the community as well. So it's just it's a great halo for these companies.
Yeah, we like working together with ForSed, of course, and to honor these companies who have reached that kind of level to win the Edge Awards because they're kind of recognized by peers in the industry. It's not just you making these decisions on who gets an award. It's a lot more people than just you.
And I'd really encourage people to buy a ticket and come out for it. It's not too expensive. It's out at the country club.
$75.
Yeah,
Right, per person.
but it's a full evening
Yeah.
of fun and I don't want to say entertainment, but you're just learning about your community.
Sure.
And you're hearing the stories of these people of how they started these things and what their core values are and how they grew them and the services they're offering. And it's heart-touching many times for these entrepreneurs of what they're doing and why,
Right.
and what they're bringing to the table. Everyone that was there last year, I think, walked away very full, not just from the food, but from the knowledge
Sure,
that
I
they
agree.
were taking in on this. And there's different categories. There's small businesses. It can be an individual proprietor. It could be a house cleaner or a house painter. But it's all about what they do, the services they offer, and how they run that business.
Right.
Larger business as well. There's beautification categories. There's several things that fits kind of a broad spectrum of companies. But we want to highlight these companies. We honor them, and then we want them to share their story to the world of how they got there and what they offer.
True. Very exciting. Always really cool. And I learn something every year when I go to the Edge Awards and get to learn about these businesses. And so it's a great opportunity. And
Yep.
so you say it's full evening, but I know you have it in my contract to get it done by 7:30.
Well, we learned. I mean, BT before Tim,
Right.
these things used to drag on.
Right.
And they went into the evening.
So it's a short evening. It's a short evening, but full of information.
So the trains ran on time.
Yes, sir.
In fact, I think we got out 10 minutes early last year.
I tried my best. Yes,
Yeah.
sir. So we'll see how it goes.
So,
But
yeah.
5:30 to 7:30
Yeah.
is the idea. So it's not your entire night on Thursday, the 13th of November. So hopefully we'll see
sir.
a lot of folks there at the Country Club. That would be great. And we can buy our tickets on the website too, I would think.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah, and earlier the better.
It probably will sell out.
Yeah, it does, and we make it comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
We're not going to put the last person in there at the expense of the person next to them.
Yeah. So there's room to move around a little bit.
Yeah.
Some elbow room, which is important. So very good. Excellent. Some of the things going on with the county and our San Juan County, let's see, I'm looking at my sheet here. Let's see. AI, behind the meter? What does that mean? What does that mean?
I think
Tim?
every time I'm here, I've talked about something that was new.
Yeah.
Because I want people to be able to not just know the buzzwords, but what's behind it.
Right.
Artificial intelligence, AI, has been all the rage, and whether you buy a new phone, new computer, new TV, even
No kidding.
anything,
Right.
it's even a new car has AI now directly integrated into the communication system, the entertainment system, everything. And AI is more than just accessing data. AI has the ability to put 1 and 1 and make it equal 3. So you're looking for that, and you're in this area. Well, you may not have thought of this, but this is something else that may apply that may be of use for you.
Right.
But to do that, it takes a huge amount of computing power. Well, the issues we have was 10 years ago, there was such an effort for energy efficiency with LED and things like that.
The light bulbs and everything else, sure,
Yeah,
right?
we
Using
thought-
less energy. We'll be using less energy in the future.
That's right.
What's
we
the
thought we
idea?
were going to be long on energy.
Yeah.
That we were going to have more energy, and that we could do more on the transferring to more renewables. We could shut down some more carbon-based forms of it. And now, 10 years later, we're using multiple times more.
We need more energy. More
Yeah.
energy.
Everything we're doing, and especially the AI revolution, is taking more energy. The issues we're now having is not just the AI, but anything that adds to the grid, that adds growth of energy to the grid. There's not enough baseload energy out there for it. So now, not just AI, and this is a nugget for today, but also other types of industries, rather than just data centers, that are starting to use large amounts of AI of energy,
Right.
are looking for what they call behind-the-meter energy solutions. Behind-the-meter energy solutions is where they generate their own power.
I see.
Well,
So
they're
a
not-
factory or a data center with solar panels on the roof.
Yeah, or a gas turbine out back that could generate 500 megawatts of this, as much as a small power plant would.
Right.
They're doing it themselves.
Okay.
And they're looking for places to do that. Now they have to do it environmentally safe. They've got to meet the requirements for emissions and all those type things.
Sure.
But they're looking for places to do that. Well, we happen to be in a basin that for 100 years has been providing power that's been going other places
Right.
to power the economy of other places for 100 years. Going to the West Coast, going to the Gulf, going to Albuquerque, going to Phoenix, wherever it may be. Just now, people are starting to turn their attention to this basin and say, what if we use it there? What if we use it in place? What if we don't have to put it to a pipeline, pay that pipeline pay pay money to transport it long distances and have to take a discount on the value of the product to get it where it's being used. What if we use it there? More secure prices for the natural resource, longer term contracts for it, and more growth for the area that's producing it, rather than just shipping it out to other places for them to be able to take advantage of the resource that's extracted here.
Right. And I guess pardon me for interrupting, but I guess for those local producers, that maybe guarantees a customer?
Well, not only a customer, but most of the contracts.
Demand?
Yeah. Most of the contracts that you see for natural gas that comes out of this region, they're short term. They're 6 months because they won't hedge it long term because they don't know what the price is going to be.
Right. It's been so volatile.
It has, and it has been for years depending on hurricane or whatever happens.
Right.
If you've got a long-term supplier, though, that's putting $1 billion or $300 million into a facility right here, though, they have to lock in longer term. So you can get better terms, better rates, and for them it's even cheaper because the prices are better here than if they go 500 miles or 1,000 miles away and try to buy the product after it's been transported.
Sure.
So it's a kind of a win-win, but those things are starting to happen. For people looking behind the meter. It was originally and it's still being driven by AI and data centers, but now it's expanding from that to just business and industry that uses larger components of power, that they're looking to the opportunity of potentially having a behind the meter either as a power source or even just a segment of their power source. So if they use 500 megawatts of power, maybe behind the meter is 150 megawatts of it. And then the grid is 200 megawatts of it, and solar with battery storage is another component that rounds it out.
Right.
But there's competitive advantages of regions that produce the resources of using it here rather than shipping it somewhere else. And we're seeing that. We're seeing projects where we're being asked. We've got folks coming to talk to us from nationwide construction companies. We've got data center site consultants. They're very, very aware of the opportunity that we have here. So we've got some fortes, and we're building upon them in new ways.
Got it. Interesting. Very cool. And I think that would be great because we're hearing a lot of stuff about data centers and server farms and things like that certainly use a lot of energy and could be viable, I think, in a lot of places, including here.
Now, and I don't want to ignore when there's always issues to development. And you have to mitigate, you have to overcome, you have to make sure it fits for your area.
Sure.
Historically, data centers use water for cooling. More and more, they're getting around and they're doing some different things with technology where maybe the water that they're using isn't a closed-looped system. So once they get it back into their system, they're not really adding to it very much. So you have to fill it the first time.
Right, but once you do that.
But then there's not a lot of loss. So I've even heard and seen a project where they were talking about using processed water that has been cleaned, not to the point of being potable, but cleaned processed water for cooling that otherwise would be injected back into the ground.
Right.
So they're getting better about that component because it's been a limiting factor of where they can go, because they can't just there's only so much supply of potable water of water and especially in the Colorado Basin. So we have to be really, really cognitive of that. And just because we can doesn't mean we should with every single thing.
Right.
We have to weigh those barriers to the opportunities that they represent.
Good point. Very good point. But as we know, we in this area have more of a supply of water than other parts of the Southwest. And I'll leave it at that.
Sure.
That's what I know, and that's geologic facts. There you are. Some grants that were coming to our state are not coming anymore. These federal grants have changed scope a little bit, it sounds like.
Well, we talked about we've talked about grants almost every time I've been here.
Sure.
And we went from a period of having probably the biggest amount of federal stimulus ever in the United States a year ago.
Right.
And now the pendulum swung back the other way, and there's a lot of grants that have been cut. But when you start cutting grants, there's effects for that as well.
Sure.
Last week there was an announcement of about over a $6 million grant to Intech for a carbon sequestration project out at the power plant that's been cut.
Okay, that's the Navajo Transitional Energy Company, Intech.
Yeah, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, and so they had over $6 million grant cut for carbon sequestration. There was and also New Mexico Tech had over $42 million cut for a energy carbon sequestration project, much of which was being spent up in the Northwest, primarily right here.
Yeah.
There's effects. Now, this is real money, and I get that, and there's money that's not going to be spent, it's going to be saved for the country.
Sure.
But carbon sequestration is one of those things that people on both sides of the aisle may have different opinions on, but they're trying to find ways that they can lessen the carbon impact to the environment.
Right.
And carbon sequestration, and the reason they had these grants in the first place is it doesn't work everywhere, but second time we're going to use the word geology today.
Okay.
Depending on your geology, there are certain places it works extremely well.
Sure.
And this is one of the areas that they think that it could work extremely well for thousands and thousands or tens of thousands of years because of the way the geology is set up. And they were testing this, and they were using certain type of wells to test what they could do with CO2.
Got it.
So this just happened last week.
Okay.
I really haven't had the opportunity to talk to the principals that are being primarily affected. They may have known about this for a while. They may have other plans. I don't know. But what it does for us is it worries me a little bit, just because there's always going to be administrations, then a new administration, then a new administration. And eventually, I don't know how long it may be, there may be an administration with a different point of view of that.
Right.
And I hope it just doesn't hurt us.
Right. Well, yeah, and you've got to think about, ENTEC owns the mine at the Four Corners Power Plant, and so that's kind of the connection there. And APS owns the power plant, most of it.
Yeah, they're one of
Most of
the
it.
owners.
And so, we know that they may not want to be in the coal business beyond 2032. At least that's the number I remember, the year I remember. 2031?
Yeah.
Oh, so it makes sense that it'd be on your radar.
And we dance whoever brings us the ball. I'm not playing any political cards here.
Sure.
We just have to navigate.
But you have to be realistic.
We do.
And that's the issue, right?
And this came up last week, and
Yeah.
that's a big deal.
Sure.
So everyone, they should check that out.
Okay.
Because we're going to have to navigate some new waters.
Right. Well, and these companies may need to make a different decision than what we'd heard previously.
And we need the power.
True. We talked about that.
And that's baseload.
Yeah, we
we
talked
need
about
that
that.
power.
Right. So,
And that's even not attracting new things, but certainly we want to attract some new things as well.
yeah, exactly. So there you go. Very interesting. Got you. And your next quarterly breakfast from Forest Ed is coming up on what, November 11th?
Yeah, it's Veterans Day.
Okay. But
Yeah.
you've got plans. You got a speaker coming in.
We do. We have someone, believe it or not, from New Mexico Tech.
All right.
So they're gonna have some things to say.
I bet.
And it's not just they're very, very vested in Northwest New Mexico. They just, they've been such a partner of ours. In full disclosure, we have a VP of New Mexico Tech on our board of directors, a Forset.
Nice.
So we've got a strong connection with them.
Sure.
And our business and industry does as well. And they're connected to energy, they're connected to our environment. And I think they have a new president as well, or a new interim president now.
Okay.
So it'd be really interesting to see what they have to say, because they're navigating this. They're living it.
Right.
What do you do if your personal budget, that's silly statement. I was going to say you lost $42.5 million.
Well, it pinches a little bit. Let me tell you.
Just a little bit. If not, something's wrong. But they're going to be here on the morning of the 11th.
Sure.
We do these breakfasts, like you said, quarterly. The last one we had was Secretary for Economic Development, Rob Black.
Right.
The Economic Development Office of New Mexico. We always bring in high-level speakers. We try to bring in relevant topics of things that people can learn from and go away from, and maybe they haven't heard this through their local news source. Nope, issues.
They hear about it here, but okay.
Yeah.
If they're not here, they're somewhere else. Okay.
But we encourage people to come out. Once again, you go to our website.
Right.
You can get a ticket. You get a good breakfast.
Okay.
It's
There you go.
not
So-
expensive.
Open to everybody. You don't have to be a
It
member
is.
of Force Ed,
That's
although
right.
I know you want them to be.
Yeah.
But if they want, they can come and get a ticket and join you for breakfast and learn a thing or two.
Well, and if people come to our events, and hopefully they see the value in the organization and they want to be a part of it.
Of course.
So
Exactly.
That's at least the thought.
Sure. But you do offer memberships to businesses, large and small,
Yeah.
to support the organization.
Yeah, we have to, because eventually we have to pay the piper as well.
Right.
But we try not to do it on the back of any one business, and we try to be very affordable, and we try to give much more of a value proposition than your membership ever would cost.
Very true. Very true. just a couple minutes remaining this morning. Tim Gibbs from Four Corners Economic Development. My guest this morning, of course, you're doing a housing study. I think we touched briefly on that maybe last time you were here.
Yeah, and we got the preliminary copy of it. It's not been released to the full board yet, and so I'm kind of talking a little bit out of turn, but when you do this once a month,
Right.
I want your viewers to come away with something really tangible. Housing is important, and that's a silly statement to put it that way, but people have to have a place to live, and if you want them to stay in this community, and if we're trying to bring companies to this community, if we're trying to have companies grow in this community, they have to have employees. Employees want to have a place to live, and they want to have a quality place to live.
Right.
So there are many things have been identified in this study, and we're going to try to take some concrete steps to do something with it. We know we have housing shortages, and we had in our study identified every level of housing, the number of units we have, the number of units are needed, and the gap. But it also addressed affordability, and that's much harder. It's hard enough to build a house, and it's very expensive to do so. But if people can't afford it, then what do you do? I mean, how do you if people are spending 30% of their income on housing, and you know what people are making in this region at different levels, then if there's not options that matches up to that, it's incredibly difficult.
Right.
So more to come on this.
Okay.
But one of the things that our study called for was other areas in the country have had this similar problem. And if they're going to have strong economies, if they're going to have places where their grandkids are going to live, and the families are going to stay intact, and you're going to have growth and economic development, you've got to address your housing issues. Sure. So it's a sidebar, but it's an incredibly important component.
Right.
What it many times suggests is putting together a coalition of folks that have a part or piece of it that collectively you can address it in a way that you can move the needle.
Right.
You know, it could be the county, it could be the city, it could be the people that have properties that could be donated for more affordable housing. It could be that planning and zoning costs come down. It could be that by forming a coalition, you can access, and this is true, more state dollars for housing to help lower the cost and lower the cost of infrastructure, which in turn gets turned in to the final price.
Sure.
So I think it's not just a study, but it's going to be a catalyst of change of like-minded people that can come together and try to do something specifically for this region to address these issues.
Nice. But to have that study, I guess, and to have done that homework, it really tries to spell out, I think, what's needed and where the shortages are, perhaps, in affordability and things like that, and maybe how we compare to other markets in the region, too?
Well, and it's short-sighted to think you're going to grow or you're going to maintain if you don't address these issues.
Sure.
And we've talked about the Down Valley effect from Durango as well. And we're lucky to be in such proximity to a partner, and a good partner at that, in La Plata, in Colorado, and Durango. But it's foolhardy to say that it doesn't affect our prices as well, and it magnifies it in some ways.
Right.
So we have to look at the situation we're in, the hand we got dealt, how we can assemble the parts and pieces, and how we can lower the cost in many ways for those that need it the most, for we can have a vibrant, healthy community that's poised to grow and be a place people want to live.
Very true. Well, and I think all you have to do is go out to 550 or 170 on a morning and see the cars going back and forth between the two communities to see the impacts of commuters and what that means for folks as they go back and forth to their jobs.
Elected officials may look at county lines, or they may look at the city and the county, or they may look at the state lines, but people for the most part don't. No. They're acting in the best interest of themselves and their families. And they're going to a place where they're going to get the best job, they're going to a place they can afford to live, but there is an effect of being this close to a resort, Western boutique town that has some attributes that drives the prices much higher than here. Sure. We have to not just stick our head in the sand, and I don't think there's one single organization that can do this alone. But if we bring public and private and do a partnership, and we identify and we remove obstacles that may be in there, and try to find some things to cut some cost, and also get more people into home ownership that are paying the same amount for rent as home ownership, right, to free up some units for the folks that actually do need them, and then bring some other parts and pieces to the table of higher density and some lower cost, and some unique attributes of quality as well for families and different things. It will not just only make my job easier on things I have like today for future companies, but our existing companies are feeling pressure for workforce. It'll help that aspect as well.
Yeah, very true. It all works together like gears or something. Well-oiled machine.
Yes, sir.
Perhaps, right? We hope anyway. Very good. Tim Gibbs, thank you for coming in. Good luck today with your busy day, and we'll look forward to an update when you can bring us one.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Did you enjoy that podcast? We hope that you did. And if you did, share it with your friends. And if you really want to keep podcasts like this coming, please support KSJE. You can do it easily online at ksje.com.